Is Roku stock a buy, sell, or a hold? I'm going to answer that question in this video looking at its revenue, cash flow, profit margin, and valuation. So let's jump right in, starting with revenue. And what you'll notice is phenomenal revenue growth from Roku, reaching 3.217 billion in the most recent trailing 12-month period. The company, of course, delivered explosive growth during the pandemic when people were spending more time at home, and so demand for in-home entertainment exploded. That growth has slowed down, but that doesn't mean the company has stopped growing. It's still got many growth opportunities ahead, given that people are switching from consuming content through cable and satellite connections to streaming connections, and Roku is arguably the best provider of the operating system for that connection, right? If you've experienced any other operating system like I have, Roku is the one that works best. Other systems on TVs, they don't work as well as Roku, and that's understandable, and you can understand why the company's gained so much market share in the US because of its effective systems that manufacturers are more and more so incorporating into their TVs. However, the one difficult thing about Roku right now is the significantly negative operating profit margin. It's down to negative 22.86%. The company was making excellent progress in growing its operating profit margin. As revenue was growing, it reached a high of near 12% at one point before really having a big decline. And that was a combination of factors. Number one, it was the start of economic reopening when people wanted to get out of the house and do things away from home. And so they spent less time consuming content at home. And then the second thing was inflation. The higher price of cost of goods sold really took a bite out of Roku. And Roku was unique in that they decided that they were not going to raise prices for customers. They were going to absorb the higher cost of goods sold and keep prices lower for customers. So they did a good thing for customers, but that's hurt their profitability. That's hurt their profit margins. And so it remains to be seen if this is a good choice longer term. We'll see the effects of this. We'll see if they have higher customer loyalty. We'll see if the growth in these times offsets some of the losses in the operating profit margin. Too early to tell right now because we're just getting the first order effects of that decision. We're just seeing the declining operating profitability right now. Let's see if higher customer growth and higher revenue follows down the line. The next thing I wanted to look at is cash flow from operations, and this metric has turned around. It was heading downward just like operating profitability, but it has turned around from negative more than 200 million up to 15.38 million, and this is presumably what got people excited about Roku stock here in 2023. The stock is up significantly already year to date, and it's likely because the company showed an end to that downward trend in cash flow from operations. So investors are optimistic that now the upward trend is beginning and the company's returning to that increase in cash flow, and soon to follow will be the operating profitability. So finally, I wanted to look at valuation, and I'm looking at the forward price to sales ratio, and at 2.79, Roku, it's trading at a similar valuation it was earlier in the year despite the increase in the stock price because its prospects have improved as well. So there's justification for the increase in the stock price. However, to answer if the stock is a buy, sell, or a hold, I think I want to see another 1 or 2 quarters of positive growth in cash flow from operations and maybe an increase in the operating profit margin before I can recommend Roku stock as a buy. So right now I'm going to rank Roku stock as a hold, but it's very close to turning into a buy. If it could show 1 or 2 more quarters of improvement, I could see myself turning this into a buy recommendation very soon.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.